G'day cocktail lovers, I hope you've been keeping well. I've got a bit of fun for you today, an experiment. I haven't done a milk clarification experiment for a little while, and this one came to me in a dream. No, it's just because I wanted to experiment with a couple of particular ingredients, do a very different style of clarified cocktail to what I'd done before. If you haven't seen either my videos about doing milk clarification or milk punch drinks or someone else's, very quick explanation. When you make a drink that's got an acidic content, as nearly all cocktails do, as in citrus juice, and you add it to milk, the milk curdles, which sounds bad, but the curds in the milk can then act as a filter. You pour that curdled drink through a filter. I use a coffee filter, a paper coffee filter, and then the curds act as an additional filter, and they filter out a lot of the color from the drink, and they also soften the flavors. And because the curds are separated in the milk, but the whey is added to your cocktail, which gives the cocktail a really nice silky texture, a bit of mouthfeel to add to, it does really great things to the taste. So I've done several on the channel. I'm sure you can find them. You're clever and industrious people. I'm gonna do a margarita tonight. Margarita is a classic, and people do a lot of tweaks and a lot of riffs on the margarita, because when a drink is a simple classic, it's very easy to do your own little variations on, and that's a good thing as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to go with a relatively straightforward recipe of just tequila. I'm using orange curacao, some people use Cointreau, triple sec, etc., and lime juice. But just for fun, because I want to see how it works, I'm going to use blue curacao because I want to see what color the clarification is. When I've done clarifications with drinks that are naturally brown, like with whiskies or rums, etc., it's turned into a really beautiful, clear, somewhere on the spectrum from yellow to orange. It's always a very interesting result. I'm really intrigued as to what color the blue curacao will clarify to, because I suspect it's going to be greeny blue, because I think the dye in blue curacao is really strong. And yes, it is dye, it's not a naturally occurring color. I hate to shatter anyone's illusions. There's not a fruit tree out there called the blue curacao tree. It's a food coloring, just so we can have fun blue drinks. So that's what this experiment is going to be, and let's get to making it. Normally a margarita would be a shaken drink, but because I'm going to actually run this through a clarification process, I'm not going to shake it, I'm going to stir it, and then it goes through the clarification process. So I'll have my stirring glass out, and for fun, again, rather than standard tequila, I've got this citrus infused tequila that I made. It's just with the peel from lemon and limes, and I steeped it or macerated the peel in the tequila for a couple of days, and it picked up this rather nice color. And it will also be interesting to see how much of this carries through in the clarification. Now, normally for a margarita for one person, it would be 2 ounces of the tequila. Because I'm going to a bit of trouble here to make this, and it takes a while. I want to make it worth my while, so I'm making more than one drink essentially. So I'm going to put 4 ounces of tequila in this drink. There are a few different opinions as to how much of your orange liqueur goes into the drink. I've seen anywhere from half an ounce to an ounce. I'm going with the recipes that were 1 ounce for a single drink. And again, given I'm making for 2 drinks, I'm going to actually put 2 ounces of blue curacao in. Finally, adding the lime juice. Again, for a single drink, I would add 1 ounce of lime juice, or maybe a bit less, depending on your personal taste. So making a bigger one, this is going to be 2 ounces of lime juice. Some fresh lime juice that I squozed a bit earlier. That's it for the cocktail. Predictably a very deep blue color. Now we add it to the milk. When you're doing milk clarification, the ratio of your drink to your milk should be about 4 to 1. That's 8 ounces in this cocktail, so 2 ounces of milk in this jug, and I simply slowly add the drink to the milk. And it is important that you add the drink to the milk, not the other way around, because it does have an effect on the curdling process. Just going to give it a gentle stir. And as you can see at the moment, it is a rather spectacular colour. What I'm going to do is give that, doesn't need that long, 15 minutes to half an hour for those curdles to fully form. And then I'm going to start the actual clarification process. I will pour it through a funnel with a coffee filter in it, and we'll see what colour we go to. We're starting with this. I'm very keen to see where we end up. Time has passed and the curdling has happened, and we're ready to start the clarification process. It's pretty simple, if time consuming. Like I said, I've just got a funnel, paper coffee filter, going to pour this through there, and it will filter through and clarify. And a little tip, even though you're putting it through a coffee filter, it's actually the curds from the milk that are doing most of the clarifying. So the curds take a little while, not long, but a little while to sink all the way to the bottom of the filter and start doing their serious work. So the first bit that filters through, well, first it tends to go through faster than the stuff that comes later, but also it tends to be a little bit cloudy. So what's a good idea is either put the whole lot through twice, which can be quite time consuming, and I mean can take hours, or let the first bit filter through, and when it starts to slow down, like now it's just going drip, 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 drip instead of a steady flow, there's probably enough curds settled in the filter now, and you can do a quick swapperoo and pour this first bit out back into this container, and then back in again, and then you're going to get a much clearer result, and because it just looks better. That's the main thing. It doesn't affect the taste that much whether you run it through the clarification once or twice, but it makes a big difference to the color. It makes it much clearer, which, you know, is a more pleasing looking drink. And incidentally, while this was happening, I also did the second version of the margarita with 2 pinches of salt, because I'm making 2 drinks, and I will be doing the same process with that. I didn't think there was any point in showing it twice, but when it's all done, I will show you both drinks, and I'll do a side-by-side taste test to see if the pinch of salt makes a really big difference. Time has passed, quite a bit of time in fact. The filtration process took longer than I was expecting, overnight. Well, it was taking well over an hour, and I went to bed and left it overnight. So the sun's come up. I thought I'd get some sunshine. And when I say nature, this is my backyard. With the current lockdown in Melbourne, I can't get much more outdoors in this. I can go for a walk in the park, which I do most days. But I thought, hey, why not get out in what sunshine I have on this late winter day. And now for the final taste test. The margaritas, as you can see, have got a fantastic colour. I'm actually really glad I used the blue curacao, because now I've got these beautiful light emerald green drinks. But here we go with the taste test. Do I taste any difference with a pinch of salt? This is the unsalted, so this is a control margarita. Oh, there's a reason a margarita is a classic. That is nice. In fact, what's interesting to me, the dominant taste in this after clarification is the lime, which is a strong component of a margarita, of course. You do feel, oh, there's a little bit of tequila warmth going down as I drink it. Yeah, the filtration process really does take the edge off the alcohol burn, which is both a good thing and a slightly dangerous thing. But now the salted one, see if I can taste the difference. I'm honestly not sure. I think it was too big a gap between two. I'm just going to sit here and sip margaritas for a while. Yep, I'm just going to sip margaritas for a while as I try and convince myself whether or not I can tell the difference with a pinch of salt. Day drinking. There are no rules in lockdown. I can have margaritas for breakfast if I want. Who's going to stop me? Well, you know, probably Mrs. Angry, if she notices what I'm doing, will have words, but it's science. This is not about getting drunk. This is about science. So I'm honestly going to say my initial experiment is I'm having trouble telling the difference. Nice limey. I think there is a subtle difference, but honestly, if you put me in a blind taste test, I don't think I'd be able to tell them apart. All I know is I've got 2 margaritas, and they're a really nice green colour thanks to the clarification process. Look, seriously, if you've never tried the milk clarification milk punch, you should. Besides the fact you get great drinks, I actually find the whole process interesting. I've done it dozens of times, and I'm not bored with it yet, so I'm probably going to keep doing it. It's a very interesting way to get a different spin on your drinks. I'd love to hear either if you've tried it, how it's worked for you, or if there's a particular drink you'd like to see me do some milk clarification on to see what result we get. Let me know in the comments. Either way, I hope you take care of yourself. I'm not necessarily recommending margaritas at breakfast. I'm not recommending it. You do you, is what I'm saying, and I'll do me. Back on my double fisting. Cheers.